G'day everyone. So for today's Tips and Tricks Tuesday, I got a question in from Andrew Parker, and his question was what binos I use and why I chose them. So I just wanted to run through. I've got 3 pairs of binos here that I personally use and why I chose them and what they are and the configuration I've sort of got them in. So over here, first up, this is sort of my bow hunting go-to, which is the small marsupial harness and pouch with the 10x42 Swaro SLCs in there. So the glass in these binos is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love these binos. They're probably my favorite bino to look through out of all the ones I've got. And I find that they're nice and small and compact for bow hunting. And then on the side here, I've got a Leopold RX 1600i, the rangefinder here, which is just on a same thing, marsupial pouch and a tether. It's also on a disconnect, so if you need to pass it to a mate or whatever, you can pass it over. But I find this combo for bow hunting, it's sleek, it's small, like you can see here with the pouch closed up. Very sleek, small, works really well, and the binos just, they go in and out that easy. They're so such a small pair of binos. They've still got a bit of weight to them, but the glass is just absolutely brilliant. So I really like these binos, and that's why I use them for predominantly bow hunting. Next up, got the big, large marsupial pouch here with the Leica 2200B, or the HDB, sorry. So these here are my rifle hunting binos, and my brother and I also interchange these binos. So if he goes out hunting and I'm rifle, oh my god, bloopers reel. Yo. Alright, so now that Ben's stopped calling me, these are the Leica HDB 2200s, and these are my rifle hunting binos. So these have got an inbuilt ballistic calculator in them. So the second I hit this range button, they take into account the atmospheric conditions, elevation, air pressure, all that la-di-da, and basically give me a correction. So say I hit this button and it's 400 yards from memory, I think it's like 1.3 mil, something like that, and it'll just spit that back to me and I can make a correction on my scope. So it's great that it's interchangeable between the 7mm Rem Mag and the 300 PRC. The only downside to these binos here in this configuration is the ballistic info is stored on an SD card, and you're only allowed one profile on the card in here. So it means if I wanted to run this with the lap in MOA, it won't work. So basically, if you get a pair of these binos, they're in sync with only one rifle, unless you've got a rifle like mine, like the 7mm and the PRC are interchangeable because they've got the same drop data. If they didn't have the same drop data, I wouldn't be able to use these, but both of them. I'd only be able to choose one and get it all synced up, and that would be it. So if you're in the market for something like this that spits back a correction for your scope, for your dialing, I would suggest looking at the new Swaros, the EL ranges. From everything I've seen, I've actually looked through them and the glass is pristine. It looks bloody amazing. I didn't test out the ballistic function on them, but from what I've seen looking online and some of the reviews, that they look like they're the way to go. They're a lot more expensive than these binos here, but if I was going to do it again, that's probably what I would buy. So I would suggest anyone looking at rangefinding binos, look at the new Swaro ELs. Then finally, we've got the big dogs. Big Meopta Meostar 15. So they're also in a marsupial large, the first edition of the harness without the enclosed sides. The reason I bought these 15s here is I compared them directly against the Swaro 15x56s, and these Meostars I think were about $1,000 less, and they weren't quite as good, but they weren't $1,000 worse. I'll put it that way. So a mate and I, we were up in the high country and we were comparing the two on first and last light, and I think he was probably a little bit jealous that he'd spent extra money on the Swaros because he had no real edge over me with these Meostars. And I'm a huge Swaro fan, don't get me wrong, but these Meopta Meostars are very, very underrated. So especially in the 15s, I've tried the 10s before. They're a little bit too bulky in the 10x42 sort of setup, but these ones here in the 15s, very similar to Swaro in size and I believe in weight. They're a big bino. You really need them on a tripod, or you need them sort of steady to be able to properly utilize them, but they work very well. So because of the size and weight of these 15 by 56s, I generally don't take them hunting very often. There's never been a time where I've taken these and not taken one of my 10 by 42s. It's always 10 by 42s and sometimes these here. I took these on the Seeker hunt in New Zealand. Kind of wish I didn't carry them in. It was probably an extra bit over a kilo that I didn't need to take. But in big country like that, they are handy. You've just got to make sure they're on a tripod or something real sturdy to make the most of them, because you're looking through 15 times of magnification, you do need it steady or you're not going to get the full benefit out of them. So I typically carry these in the car. They don't normally ever leave the car. And if I'm driving around properties or up on some of the 4B tracks or whatever and just want to have a glass, I'll sit these up on the window. Yeah, crack the window a bit, sit these on the window and have a look around. But other than that, I don't take them hunting very much. And I don't think for the most part many people need 15 power binos. I think on a tripod you'll almost get more benefit out of your 10s, maybe your 12s. If you're going to do a lot of glassing, for sure, grab a set of 15s. And like I said, I think these are probably the best value for money 15s you can get quality-wise. I've looked through some others like the Vortex Vultures and that, and they're okay. I wouldn't personally buy them over these Mio Stars. I think for the extra money, these are well and truly worth it. So I've been rambling on. I'm going to try and cut this down because Tips and Tricks Tuesday isn't meant to be a long video, and this is turning into a long, rambling, talking crap video. Alright, so 15s. I don't think many people need 15s. So if you're looking at 15s and you've got other binos, sure, go ahead. I probably personally wouldn't buy 15s again myself. The Leicas that I have in here, same thing. Probably personally wouldn't buy them again. I like that I've got them set up with a 7mm and the PRC. They work really well, but I believe Swaro glass is better. And if I had to do it again, I'd just buy the EL Rangers. The Swaro SLCs, if you want to run a separate rangefinder to your binoculars, you don't want inbuilt, I don't think there's a better binocular right now than the Swaro SLC HD. I believe that that's the best glass on the market in terms of no rangefinder inbuilt. So there's going to be people that disagree with me on that, and I've only can compare with the binos I've looked through, but in my opinion, the Swaro SLC HDs is up there with the best glass I've ever looked through bino wise, and the new Swaro EL range is 100% the best glass I've looked through for a range finding bino. So I think that's it. That's going to wrap this up. I hope someone learned something from that. Sorry if I was rambling on and talking shit. I'll see you guys next week. Catch us later. In binos, the 50. Oh my, why can't I talk right now? Oh my god.